So what we've got here is a 1980 Suzuki RM50. So with it being 1980, it's the T model. I've not had one of these before. Can't actually remember ever having seen one in real life. Knew they existed. I've always had the JR50s and the RM60s. Difference between this and the JR50, slightly bigger, but the big difference is this is a manual gearbox. It's a full manual gearbox, unlike the JR, which is a bit like a PW50 and has an auto box. This has a clutch and manual gears. So it's a full motocross bike, 50cc, two-stroke, air-cooled bike, twin shock. This would have been your 50cc race bike for your child who'd slightly outgrown the PW50 or JR50 auto bike, and this would have been the bike that they'd have moved on to. And like I say, I don't remember ever having actually seen one, but I've got one here. So at the time when I bought this, I thought it was an RM60. My mate went to go and pick it up and he said, "Oh, I've got there and it's only a 50, but I've bought it anyway because we don't come across them." And I was pleased that he had. I just hope it gets RM60 money. I think it should do. It's a restoration project, although I think it's quite a good restoration project. I think it's got some really good things going for it. It's obviously needs some TLC. It probably looks worse than it is, really. Things like the frame and stuff like that seem to be in great condition. You'll notice that the tank here, whether you leave that as it is or whether you do something with that, my only concern would be that if you do something with it, you'd be losing things like the warning stickers, the original stickers that are on that tank. So that will be my concern with that, really. So I have had the bike on the bench. It's got compression, it's got a spark, there's no kill switch. It's on points, so for a kill switch it would need a switch going in between the wire that comes out from the points, switching between there and the coil, really, and there isn't one on this bike. So when I ran it, I basically stopped it from running by lowering the idle speed until it stalled. You could obviously stick it into gear and install it that way. Another way of doing it. So gonna have a quick look around the bike as I normally do, the main components, and then hopefully have a little ride of it for you, so you can hear it running, see it riding, and you get a lot better idea then, don't you, about the bike itself. But some great features on the bike. I mean, I think these are probably original. That is an original Suzuki grip. It's still got the S stamped into it. Original kickstart rubber, I think. Yeah, these are definitely original grips. They're not in the best of condition, but they are the original ones. So lovely touch there. Although it looks it, I don't think it's probably done a huge amount of work. Probably just been left outside, unfortunately, which is what lots of people seem to do. Anyway, let's have a quick look around it, and then you can see it running. So there is good bits and bad bits to this, obviously. If we look at a few of the things that we normally look at, you'll notice that the tank has got some rust at the front of it, and I was expecting it to be red rusty inside, but in actual fact it's full of fuel, which is it's got a good smell to it, so the fuel's not even off that's inside it, but it's not rusty. It's nice and clean in there. We've still got like the original warning label, so it's like, do you paint the tank to get rid of that? But then you're going to lose the warning sticker and the originality of it. I don't know, that'd have to be up to you, really. The chrome's gone through on the forks, so they're going to need re-chroming. but there's lots of nice bits. So it's like the front rim is in gorgeous condition. Very, very, very slight pitting here and there, but if it was me, I would be tempted to leave that as is. And then looking around, the exhaust has not got a single dent on it. Really, really beautiful condition. Original paint on the heat shield, I believe. Just, yeah. There's not a lot of wear on the clutch cover. There's not a lot of wear on the ignition cover either. And that's where you've got your gear lever, so you'd expect there to be more wear than that. So I suspect this bike hasn't done a huge amount of work, really. Seats okay. These plastics, if you're going to try and restore them, you're going to have to scratch off a lot of this oxidised plastic to get down to the yellow colour, or try and find some replacement plastics. The back end is very dirty. So if you look at the rear rim, there's no dents on the rear rim or anything like that, but it's very dirty. And I had initially thought that this shock absorber had blown out, but I don't think it has. This blackness appears to be coming from the joint between the silencer, which isn't the correct silencer for this bike, and the front pipe. So that's something to consider, to find the correct silencer and sort that out as well. But as you can see with the rest of it, it's in very nice restorable condition. The engine turns over and has compression. Oh, wasn't supposed to do that when I just pushed the kickstart over. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to start just then. I was only trying to show you that it has compression. I have run the bike. It started about a second kick off the fuel that's in the tank. I never normally run them with the fuel that's in the tank, but when I opened it, it smelt like it was good fuel. I emptied a bit of fuel out. It's definitely pre-mixed. So then I checked the carb. The carb was slightly dirty in the bottom, but not bad, so I cleaned that out. There's no kill switch on this bike, so it's on points, so there should be an inline switch basically between this wire here and the coil, but there isn't one, so you'll notice I just stopped it by just turning the tick over down. So anyway, yeah, there we go. So what we're going to do now is we'll do the gearbox test. So my little stand here is slightly in the way, but it does slightly work. So we're in neutral, down into first, up into second, up into third, fourth, fifth. That's the top of the gearbox. Back down to fourth, third, second, first, and back up into neutral. So there you go. She's she's got compression and she runs, and got all the gears there. I'm going to take it outside and have a little ride of it, and yeah, all good. So you'll have already seen it running in actual fact, so it's going to, I've not ridden it yet, but I'm sure it's going to set off and ride fine. So I was trying to show you the compression and it fired itself up, so Hopefully it'll start just as nicely this time. Obviously not really designed for a fat knacker like me, so wasn't pulling amazingly well up the hill there, but engine sounds as sweet as a nut. Gears are absolutely fine, in need of a restoration, but engine wise all good. So we're buying a lovely little project there. Either if you had one when you were a kid, always wanted one, or you want something to do up for your child or whatever, it'd be a great little project. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just search Phoenix Motos.